Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to delve into our 6th set of alternatives for the August 2025 paper pumpkin kit called Farmhouse Florals. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done them as intended. And like I said, we're going to do a set of alternatives today, so let's go ahead and get started. Got a couple of pretty easy ones. So we're going to start with this one here. So I have a white card base that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then again at 2 1/8. So I folded this just, like normal, like we would do, and burnished this. And then this, your other score will get folded back. So you've got a mountain fold here. So we're going to score that, or burnish that, so it lays pretty flat. Got a piece of white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of Daffodil Delight here that's also 5 by 4 1/4. That's going to go on the outside here. Card base that I cut down. This was one that came in the kit. I cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. And that's going to go on top of our piece of Daffodil Delight here. So let's go ahead and put that down, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with our little punch out pieces here. So let me get my tape runner, and we will get this put down, centered on our piece here of Daffodil Delight. Okay, now we are going to put this little piece away. We're going to stamp on it here when we get ready to stamp our inside. We're going to take this bag or purse punch out, and I'm just going to layer it on top of here, which is how it was intended to do in the kit. I'm just going to pop it up on some dimensionals though. So I'm down to little ones because I'm out of big ones until my order comes. So we're going to use quite a few of these little ones. Oh my goodness. Hopefully it'll be here soon. I don't like running out of things, but unfortunately it happens to the best of us. Alright, so let's get our little backs off of these. And I think we got all of them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, I got one more here that didn't want to play. Let's see if I get this last one off. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right on top of the bag that's on the card front, but this is just going to give it a little dimension. So a little bit of interest there. And then I've got a couple of the flowers that came that we're also going to pop up here on top of the matching flowers that are on the front. So like I said, this is a pretty easy one because the punch outs that are in the card and the card base are doing all the work for us. So we'll go ahead and get these put on some dimensionals. And get the backs off of these. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and put these yellow ones right up here on top of these other 2 yellow ones. And these peachy looking ones go right down here. So we're going to have them kind of fall over the side of our bag, our popped up bag, because that's how they are on the bottom layer. Now, let's do our stamping before we put this on top of our Z-folded card base here. So, I'm going to stamp on, oops, hang on a second. We've got another little lost piece. I forgot. Hold on. Let's get this other one on here. We don't want to leave it out. So it goes right here. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to stamp on here with Lost Lagoon because I want to try to pull in this Lost Lagoon that's down here at the bottom. And on here we're going to put let's see, we're going to use this little stamp right over here that says, just a note. So let me get a block. And we'll ink this up. This ink is so light looking on top of our on the stamp itself. It's hard to tell if you've actually inked it up or not. Okay, I'm going to lay this kind of lined up here with one of these lines on the glass mat so I can somewhat start straight in hopes that we end up straight. Okay, so there's our just a note. And we're going to put that just kind of coming off the side of our little bag here. And on the inside, we're going to do, here, I've got on the, in the stamp set, there were these two little stamps here that say, to say, and then the other one says, you are loved. So I kind of put them together on my block because I want to stamp it all as one, at one time. I'll show you here. So let's ink this up. I'm going to line this up with the glass mat. And we're just going to go down like that. Perfect. Okay. We put our ink away for the moment. We'll get this on our inside. And then we'll finish our outside here. So let's put this down. And I think I forgot to dig out some bling, so we'll have to get some bling for our card, because we can't have a card without bling, right? You gotta have bling. Okay, so we're gonna get this centered. Okay, so we've got this. Now, we're gonna take this and we're going to put it right here. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball here where we can flip it over. Now I know I can only put adhesive on this side, because if I put it over here, I'm going to glue my card shut. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep it to the right hand side here. And we're going to go on here. And we want to make sure that it fits so that it's not hanging over your right hand side of the card. It looks like we're a little too far to the top. Let's just move this down. I want to kind of center it top to bottom, just like that. Okay, so there's that. Now for our little piece here, I've got some of this Daffodil Delight satin ribbon, and I'm going to take a piece of this and I'm just going to cut off a little piece, and I'm going to thread it through our little sentiment here. I'm going to put it through here. If I can get it through here, let's see. And, oops, hang on, let's see. Let me get it through here. Just like, oh, there, got it. Okay, and so I got that, and I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And we are going to just, maybe I'm going to tie it in a knot. It's satin and it like wants to move around on you. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Just like that. Okay, so now we've got that there. I'm going to put this on here, and then we'll trim this just a little bit because it doesn't need all of that. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue on this, so just a tad bit here. We don't need a lot. And I'm going to make this look like it's hanging off of the handle of our little bag here. So we're just going to give that just a second to adhere. And then I'm going to go up here and trim our little ends because we don't need them that crazy. There we go. Okay, now let me see if I can find some bling really quickly to put on this one. Let me see what I've got handy here. This kind of looks, we can use these, they look kind of Lost Lagoon color. So let's use these. I'm going to put one. Let's see. Let's go right here. And then we'll put a little one here. And another little one. Somewhere. How about right up there? Okay. Cool. All right, so there's our first one. Very cute. All right, let's move on to our second one. So our second one, we're going to start with a card base that is Lost Lagoon. And it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to, let me get a block here because we're going to need this block for our sentiment here. Okay, so this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to give it a good burnish. I have a piece for the inside that's 5 by 4 1/4. Now, on the outside, I've got a piece of basic gray here that is 5 by 4 1/4 that I put through the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. So here's what this looks like. Just makes this nice corrugated. And I did it like this because I wanted my lines to be going, you know, horizontal. So this is going to go on the front of our card like this. So we can go ahead and put that down. I'm going to use liquid glue for this just because of the nature of it being, you know, embossed now. It takes a little extra to keep it down. So we need to get some glue down in all these little crevices. So I'm going to center this. Okay, I'm going to give that a little push there to make sure that stays. Now I've got another piece. This is one of the card bases that came in the kit that I cut down to 3.5 by 4 1/8. And this is going to go here in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and put this down. We can use, I'm going to use again liquid glue just because we're putting onto this, you know, corrugated surface. We want to make sure that it sticks and stays. So we're going to center this. Just something like that. Okay, so we'll give that a good push. Now, I've got this little typewriter that came in the kit. And we're going to put it on the front here. It's got a little piece of paper here that we're going to stamp on. We're going to stamp our sentiment on this, and it fits right down in here into this typewriter so that it looks like the paper is sticking out of the typewriter. That is just so cute. Okay, so let's do some stamping. We're going to stamp in Lost Lagoon again. And for our little piece of typewriter paper, we're going to do thank you. So this came in the kit as well. And I like this thank you. It's a script font, which I just always love. So we're going to put this, let's see, I'm going to put this on a line, lining up the bottom since the bottom is straight. So I can try to make sure I'm as straight as possible. Now I'm going to try to make it just a little more north on the little piece of paper. There you go. So that when we put it inside of our typewriter, it can still stick out and we can still read it. So, too cute. Okay, so there's that. Now, on here, we're going to stamp, let's see. I've got says, what does this say? If I can read it. You're simply the best. So this is what we're going to put on the inside. So let me get this on a block. And we'll ink it up. And I'm going to put this, line this up so this is straight. And we're just going to put this down here. And there we go. All right, so let's put our ink away so we don't have any ink disasters. because we don't want any of those. So we'll go ahead and put this on our inside. And we'll put that right down here, centered up. And that is crooked as all get out. Oh my goodness, let's try that again. Oh my. Sometimes I wonder, like, am I crooked? I just can't put anything down straight. That looks much better. Okay, now let's get our little typewriter on the front. We're going to pop this up. So we're going to put down our little dimensionals here. And I need to, I'm going to go ahead and put at least one, right? Let me see. Let's pull this out a little bit. We want to put one right here so that this can have something to stick to so it's not floating around all over the place. So let's get our backs off here. Got that one. And then I'll feed our little piece of paper back through here. I don't think I got this one. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this in here just like this, and I'm going to turn this over and just kind of make sure that it's sticking out so you can read it, but I want it to catch that little piece of, there we go, of dimensional so that it sticks to that. So we're going to put this right here. Let's see, I'm going to put it centered, basically centered. Okay, so just like that. And then I've got some of this Lost Lagoon soft cording, and we are going to try to make a bow. And if we thought the satin ribbon was slippery, this cording is really slippery because it's very soft. It feels very nice, but it moves around a lot on you. Okay, so we'll start out with something way bigger than we need, but it gives me wiggle room. So I'm just gonna cut this off from our spool here, and we'll go ahead and get this, fuss with this just a little bit. We'll get a glue dot, and we will put this down on the glue dot, and we'll put it right in the middle here below our typewriter. Let's see, let's move that over just a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to straighten our little bow up here. And then we will go ahead and trim some of these tails off because we don't need them to be quite that long. About just like that. Okay. That is just cute. Now, let's see. What can we use for bling for this one? I don't know. This kind of looks like the wrong color green on that one. So, let's see what else we've got. I should have got these out before we started. Oh, wait a minute. Here's some. Let's use these. These are Lost Lagoon for sure. It looks like they're all, oh no they're not. So we've got big and little, so we'll use a big one. I think these are the ones I have trouble getting off. So let's do up here, and we'll do a little one. That one, it wants to go, it wants to play. So we'll put it, oh my goodness, don't stick to my finger. Alright, I don't like that. Let's see. Let me move this one over here. There we go. Like that. And we'll do another little one over here. And there we go. Very cute. Very cute. Simple, but yet nice. So, let's see. Here are the 2 cards that we made today. So, pretty simple. We let most of the pieces of the kit do the work for us. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. I think I've got 2 more sets of August paper pumpkins, and then we get to move on to September. So let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite. I really like them both. There's something about the typewriter and that script font I really like. Even though it's pretty plain and simple, I really like it. Okay, that's all I've got for today. So I will see you guys in a day or so with another paper pumpkin. Have a crafty evening. Bye.